Welcome to the Fresh Talk News channel. Today, we're diving into a major political update that's raising eyebrows in Washington and beyond. President Trump's special envoy to the Middle East, Steve Witkoff, a former real estate attorney and investor, has reportedly caused concern among administration insiders due to his unconventional and, some say, risky approach to diplomacy. Witkoff isn't just handling the Middle East. He's also become Trump's personal point of contact with Russian President Vladimir Putin. That's right, he's acting as a one-man team in some of the most critical negotiations America faces. According to multiple sources, Witkoff has been attending high-level meetings completely alone, even relying on Kremlin translators instead of bringing his own diplomatic staff. This breaks long-standing U.S. diplomatic protocols and has worried many in Washington. In his most recent meeting with Putin this past Friday, Witkoff greeted the Russian leader like an old friend. No advisors, no military officials, no translators of his own, just him. Meanwhile, Putin was flanked by top officials, including aide Yuri Ushakov and Kirill Dmitriev, head of Russia's Sovereign Wealth Fund. John Hardy, director of the Foundation for Defense of Democracy's Russia program, expressed concern, saying, "Anyone engaging in serious talks with Putin should have experienced Russia experts on their team. Witkoff is going in alone, that's dangerous." Another Trump administration insider didn't mince words, calling Witkoff a nice guy, but a bumbling idiot, and warning that he shouldn't be doing this kind of work without proper support. Witkoff's allies praise him as a strong negotiator, and to be fair, he has taken on a massive workload. Beyond his talks with Russia, he's also trying to broker peace in the Middle East. As Trump's special envoy, he helped secure a temporary ceasefire between Israel and Hamas just before Trump was sworn in. But things went south when he tried to extend it. On March 12, Witkoff walked out of a meeting in Qatar believing he had a deal. Hamas would release 5 hostages in exchange for Palestinian prisoners. But 2 days later, Hamas changed the terms, offering just 1 living American hostage and the bodies of 4 others. Witkoff rejected the deal, and the ceasefire collapsed 4 days later. In a March 23 interview on Fox News Sunday, Witkoff admitted, "I thought we had an acceptable deal. Maybe that's just me getting duped." Many in Israel applaud his efforts but worry that his lack of diplomatic experience clouds his judgment. Former Israeli National Security Council official Shiri Fine-Grossman warned, he's assuming autocratic regimes like Hamas and Iran can be reasoned with. That's a dangerous misunderstanding. Others question whether Witkoff can handle the pressure of managing 2 enormous portfolios, the Middle East and Russia. Israeli security expert Danny Citrinowicz asked, how does he divide his time between such demanding negotiations? The Iran issue alone is too complex. I hope he's not doing it solo. And there's more. When Trump took office on January 20, retired Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg was already serving as his special envoy for the Russia-Ukraine war. But in March, Trump reassigned Kellogg to focus solely on Ukraine, and gave Witkoff the authority to negotiate directly with Moscow, not Kiev. So now we've got 2 separate envoys handling 2 sides of the same war. Kellogg, to his credit, made progress, getting Kiev to agree to a peace proposal and even working on a mineral rights deal with the Trump administration. But when Trump recently proposed recognizing Crimea as Russian territory, things took a turn. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, who had been working with Kellogg, was blindsided. That's because, as John Hardy explained, Witkoff is closer to Trump, so he's relaying Moscow's perspective. But he has far less understanding of Kiev's position. Former U.S. Ambassador to Russia Michael McFaul blasted the situation on X, saying, if Trump were serious about ending the Ukraine war, he'd appoint one person to speak to both sides. Witkoff acts more like Putin's mailman than a real negotiator. It gets worse. Russian state media has picked up on Witkoff's habit of echoing Putin's talking points, even ones Russians themselves don't repeat. In a March 21 interview with Tucker Carlson, Witkoff called the annexation of 4 Ukrainian regions political, but he couldn't even remember the names of those regions: Donetsk, Kherson, Luhansk, and Zaporizhia. He said, they're Russian-speaking. The people there want to be under Russian rule. What he didn't mention: Russian forces either killed, displaced, or silenced Ukrainian language speakers, facts confirmed by multiple news outlets, Ukrainian officials quickly fired back. One told the Post, "This is about sovereignty and dignity, not politics." Even Zelensky said, "Witkoff has adopted the Russian narrative. Whether he realizes it or not, that's the result." Critics also slammed Witkoff's reliance on Russian translators. In one video, he asks if someone at the table is from the embassy. That kind of uncertainty can cost dearly in diplomacy. Ukrainian Estonian translator and government advisor Janika Merailo said it best, "No serious negotiator goes into talks with a hostile country without their own translator." Witkoff doesn't speak Russian, he can't even verify what's being said. And then there's Iran. Witkoff floated a proposal earlier this month that would allow Iran to keep its nuclear facilities, as long as it agreed to limit uranium enrichment. Critics said the plan echoed the 2015 Iran deal that Trump had previously scrapped. On April 14, Witkoff told Sean Hannity that the key was verifying enrichment levels. But a day later, he walked back the comments, saying Iran must stop and eliminate its nuclear weapons program entirely. Andrea Stricker from FDD warned that even if Iran agrees, it could simply wait out the Trump administration and ramp things up again later. They need to see the nuclear program as a threat to their survival, not as protection, she said. Former Trump National Security Advisor John Bolton didn't hold back either. He called Witkoff's talks a waste of oxygen. He warned, "The Iranians are buying time. Trump is making the same mistakes Obama did in 2015. Senior fellow Behnam Ben Tailblue added that Iran sees these talks as a human shield, protecting them from Israeli attacks while dragging out negotiations, and behind the scenes, Israel is reportedly ready to act, with or without U.S. support. Despite all this, the White House is standing by Witkoff. Deputy Press Secretary Anna Kelly said, "Steve Witkoff has secured the release of Americans like Mark Fogel and left behind a huge business empire to serve his country. Like Trump, he's focused on stopping the killing and advancing peace through strength. Only time will tell whether Witkoff's high-risk approach brings peace or backfires." Thanks for watching Fresh Talk News channel. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more breaking updates and in-depth political coverage.